Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And now, we've started the world tour with the Tempest Elite team. We've done Conquest, and it was fairly simple. Now, we are going to try out the first couple fights of Tempered Edge, specifically 5 of them. So, a couple being not really true. But we're going to do the Earth, Space, Light, Wind, and Water stages today. And I think we should be fairly okay in these because they're not terribly difficult. But we're going to use the same team as we did with Conquest and just go with kind of this pretty basic team. Again, we're not including the Benimaru. We're not including whatever third unit comes out because it's not even out yet. And honestly, I don't think people should pull for it either. But Trainee, Gobta, Space Rimuru, Free-to-Play Geld, the new Shuna, and then old Water Shuna, I think is a reasonable number of units to bring. You know, we're trying to focus on the Tempest Elite team, so obviously we need the Protector in at least the first unit. The free-to-play unit is a free-to-play. Geld is a free-to-play. Space Rimuru is old. It does not matter if he's skill-fused. It certainly helps, but you don't need him to be. And then Water Shuna is also quite old. So I think this is fair, quote-unquote. The supports obviously are not quite as fair, but hey, I gotta have something here. So we're gonna go through these 5 stages and just run through them and see how fast we can clear them. So let's get started. Alright, since we're getting passive points from Trainee and we have Shuna that can convert everything, the starting hand really doesn't matter all that much. We are in a space fight, though, which means our 3 wind units are not going to do overly well here. So let's get Gobta out. We won't bring Trainee in yet, but at least we get Shuna's trait, which is also skill points, and we'll go ahead and hit Soe first and just try and get him as low as possible. So, again, 30 points from... Oh, I mean, that works too, I guess. Sure. I guess we'll just use Geld. Or Shuna, it really doesn't matter. Geld. Alright, and who has the highest attack stat? Probably Space Rimuru, actually, but I still want to try it with you. So we're going to bring Wind Shuna in. We're going to give all the orbs to her, hopefully. Okay, good. Alright, that also increases the damage blues do, and we'll send these against Benimaru and just try and keep the damage even as much as possible. And we're still doing decent numbers, even with type disadvantage. So full hand of blues, that gets us almost double protector again. That's a pretty good hand right there. Alright, yeah, they do a lot of damage against, free-to-play Geld. Alright, so let's go ahead and give Shuna the EX. We can start putting the Pierce buff on, since we can use that here. Yeah, they have defense and they have attack, but not that big of a deal. Yeah, let's give her the EX ult. And then we should probably get Geld out of here. Let's use the full convert with Shuna. Boom. Just make sure everything's nice and clean. We'll bring Rimuru in here. I guess we can use the defense skill for funsies. It's not even maxed out. That's how much I care about it. But yeah. So let's do that. And, oh, Pierce buff. Let's do that. Boom. So now we're going to do extra damage. Awesome. Everyone likes that. We have the EX ult with Shuna. I don't know if it'll be enough to totally wipe out the enemy team. We might have to wait a little bit longer for some extra points. But we already have the Pierce buff on, and we only have 2 other buffs, so actually we should be okay. Especially with the follow-up attacks. Alright, Shuna is binded. Not that big of a deal. I think we can't... How much health do you have? 115. Okay. I kind of want to wait one more turn. And get another 30 points up to 150. That way I could use both of the buffs and the orb change to make sure that we have a full hand that can follow up. Bind, doesn't matter. They're hitting pretty light. They should get their ults soon. Yeah, now. So, yeah, we should nuke. They have extra defense right now, but I don't think there's much we can do about it. So let's use the ult buff, the attack buff. Oh, we can't use that. Unfortunate. A whole bunch of green orbs, huh? Yeah, we're going to have to make do with it. Alright, so ult buff, attack buff, plus the ult resistance down. Again, you may or may not have it. I don't know. But let's go ahead and use this. So the water resistance doesn't matter. And we'll go ahead and get the follow-ups activated. Hopefully, if the ult doesn't kill them, the follow-ups will. But I think it's more important we take out Soe, because he's single target, and Benimaru doesn't do quite as much damage, but let's find out. 71k, okay, 1, 2, and 3, and then the follow-up attacks. Alright, Soe is dead, and these might kill Benny. Alright, perfect, there we go. We could have taken a lot of damage there, but even type disadvantage, we still have the Pierce buff, the attack buff, the alt resistance down, and the alt buff. It was enough to kill using the follow-up attacks. So there we go. First Tempered Edge stage, done. Alright, moving on to the Space Milim Tempered Edge. We got a wind unit, which means our single target nuker, Shuna, isn't going to be quite as effective. And this Milim does have 252,000 HP, which means she's going to need to be hit a little bit harder than normal. So you know what? Let's try and make Gobta our DPS alongside the new Shuna. That way we have an AoE and a single target going on. So let's bring the new Shuna in for Space Rimuru. And yeah, we can go ahead and run it. So we'll just send these orbs here. Again, it doesn't really matter what we do turn 1, because we should just be able to change turn 2. Look at that! Look at this orb RNG that we're getting. Alright, let's just use Gobta then, and use his orbs to change, and I think we'll just keep at it. We'll probably swap out Geld for Space Rimuru? Yeah? Well, let's give away. Let's use the giveaway to Shuna. That way she gets some gauge here. I just don't know how we're going to get Gobta some gauge, because he definitely does not have a very high attack stat. We might just have to go with Shuna. Okay, he got his attack lowered, so now he definitely doesn't have the highest attack stat. Alright, so let's just do this. Let's give Shuna the buff. Perfect. Boom. And then let's get Shuna out after using her orb change. Boom. And then we will swap the ult away with Gobta, put some Pierce resistance on Milim, and then we'll bring Water Shuna in, because I guess that's what we're going to have to do here. And then we can give her an ult. Boom. Awesome. And yeah, I think that's what we're due for now. So we won't send her last, though. We'll send Gobta last. So 19, 600, yeah, so the guard and defense is definitely going to cut our damage down. We have to nuke this Space Milim at really weird turns, like turn 6 and then turn 11 or something like that. So I think we're just going to have to build up some alts. Alright, those greens are a little bit interesting. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to bring you in for Water Shuna, that way you don't take any excessive damage. We've got the EX ult for Shuna already, it doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and swap the ult away again, put a little bit more Pierce resistance down on Milim, and then we can use Gobta's orb change again, and get another full hand of blues, and we'll just kind of chip away at her for now. Because I want to use the Pierce buff, but we used a little bit too many there, so we'll have to use this turn to build back up. I think next turn we'll bring Water Shuna in, use the Pierce buff, and send her away. That way she can get full buffed as well. And next turn will be the last turn we get passive points. Which may actually not be the best time to use this then. We may have done it a little bit out of order. Oh well. We're not going to get any new points now. So we're not going to be able to ult at max power. We may have messed up. I might have to reset. But I think we'll be okay for now. Once the defense and all that leaves, the magic and physical resistance leave, we'll take a look. Okay, the counters, man. The counters. Alright, Geld, fine. Okay. Gobta has no orb, so we'll make sure not to bring Shuna in for Gobta. So, Shuna for Shuna. Let's do Space Rimuru in here for Gobta. And let's use the attack buff and the alt buff. Since the Pierce power is the weakest buff, we will skip on using that. We'll get the follow-up attacks. And maybe this kills? Maybe? We'll send Shuna first because she lowers physical resistance, which doesn't really matter. Okay, so we'll just do this instead. let's see how much we do. Shuna, 79k, not great. Water Shuna, 60k. Oh, that's not bad for a single target. All right, follow-up. But I think we've done enough damage where our follow-up attacks will actually take her out. 16, 10, there we go. All right, so turn 6 wasn't pretty. We definitely were not full buffed, but we were still able to do it. And our single target unit actually did almost as much as our AoE unit did, so that's nice. All right, Space Mill him down. Let's move on. All right, the light stage. We don't have type disadvantage here, but I think they nerf blues. I guess we're gonna find out nice, quick, and in a hurry now, won't we? Let's bring you in for Gobta. Let's bring Water Shuna in for Geld. And we'll start hitting Xion, because she hits back the hardest. And she doesn't heal herself. Alright, so defense and guard, that's why we don't hit Shinsha. And we got the DPS coming in. And, okay, blues are fine for now. Oh, we've got the traits, so that's nice. Okay. Let's go ahead and full change to blues. We didn't get quite as lucky as last time. But let's give EX Shuna her first alt buff, alt gauge. And I think actually we'll just send the orbs as they are and not focus solely on one unit. Okay. So this should get us not 2 stacks of protection, but very close. Alright, guarding hits is not great, but I mean, she's already down almost half HP, so I think we're going to be just fine here. Let's go ahead and give her the EX ult. We'll use the Pierce buff now because it does last for 3 turns. It is pretty efficient. So Pierce buff, and then we'll use the full orb change here from New Shun. That's not the right buff. All right, there we go. And then the full orb change. Boom. There we go. And that leaves us with a total of 20 points, which means that we can bring Gobta in for Space Rimuru, and then get that orb swapped out, plus lower the Pierce resistance. Thankfully, this stage is meant to have Pierce. And then we'll actually keep sending this. And then next turn, we'll use a gauge on Water Shuna and get this one out of here. And then that'll mean that by turn 5, we will have enough points to full nuke. I mean, but this stage isn't much easier. They've spread out the damage because they're 2 targets now. And, I mean, she's almost dead. We could nuke now. We would probably be fine as far as killing Xion, but Shinsha does have a bit of defense. So 1 more turn is what we're going to wait for. Well, look at that hand. I don't even have to orb change. All right, fine. I mean, I could. I'd lower the Pierce resistance a little bit, I guess. Why not? But, you know, we brought another... we were having another Xion orb, or Shuna orb coming in. So let's just do this, and then we'll give these to Water Shuna, to Space Rimuru. We're gonna have 3 ults then. Alright, now to go to Shuna. Right? Okay, good, there we go. Alright, let's go ahead and send these on Shinsha and just try and get her a little bit lowered. We're technically gonna have 4 ults now. I mean, hey, whatever works, right? Alright, she's guarding, she's got defense, she's a tanky little girl. But I think we're going to overwhelm her with pure ult damage and the follow-up stuff. So, we don't really want to take these ults. We also don't have a trainee. How much ult do you have? 143? I think we'll be okay. I think we will be okay. Let's bring you in for... how much? 130. No, 5. Not enough. Okay. So... let's bring you in for Geld. And let's bring you in for Gobta. And we have 3 ults, one of them being single target. And we will get the full buff going on. Yeah, I think, yeah, everyone has the Pierce buff. Everyone will have the attack buff now. Everyone has the ult buff. So the first AoE ult will kill Xion, without a doubt. And then the next stuff should take out Shinsha. So, ooh, oh, bye. We don't even need the single target. Get out of here. Alright, well that was fun. That was easy. 5 turns. EX Shuna did most of the work anyways by herself. Let's move on. Alright, the Wind Tempered Edge stage, Diablo and Geld. Now it works out quite nicely that our main primary DPS is Wind, because we should be able to wipe out both of them in just one EX ult. And that's going to be real nice. So, let's bring you in for Gobta. We'll send these Geld orbs, actually, and not really worry about anything else. And then, do we get the protection gauge increase here? Do we get enough to get a... No, not quite. Okay, so full change. Boom. The stage does cater to blue orbs quite nicely, so that is good. We'll bring Gobta back in because he's also Wind, and we'll just have a front line of Wind units. Excellent. We won't worry about sending them away quite yet because we're doing fairly good damage already. Alright, 16k right there. Love to see it. That's an interesting hand right there. Will we have enough to orb change without having to use Shuna again? Probably. Okay, so let's do this. No, let's do this, and the Pierce buff. There we go. So we're just going to nuke with our Wind units here. And we're going to see if we can do enough damage. So let's do 2 stacks for Shuna, get her EX ult. We won't worry about sending the orbs away to her, because obviously she's ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This will do a lot of damage to Diablo. Although, do we have Pierce resistance on the stage? We might. Yeah, we do. Okay. So we're a little bit nerfed there instead. Unfortunate. But it is what it is. Oranges are heavily nerfed. Okay. Well. What can we do? We can alt swap away. So that Pierce now, how much is that Pierce nerf? 40%. So we're losing 10% Pierce damage. Highly unfortunate. Alright, orb change. Boom. We'll bring Water Shuna in for you, and then we will orb change with you, and then I think we'll bring Space Rimuru in for his AoE instead, and then he can get an ult, and then we'll nuke next turn on turn 5 when we should have enough points to do everything. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Perfect. We also have a Geld ult, so good. We got 3 AoE ults. Perfect. As long as Gobta has an orb, we're going to be okay. That's the main kicker here, is if Gobta has an orb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Gobta does have an orb, look at that. Alright, we're ready to go. Diablo does a lot of damage still, but he just attacks so much. So, we've got the Pierce buff on Shuna. Their Pierce defense is leaving, so technically we should nuke next turn, but they're about to hit us, and I don't really want that. So, let's bring Water Shuna in for Gobta. We'll use her ult, not that one, her ult buff now. Water resistance doesn't mean anything here, because we're nuking with Wind units and Space unit. Shuna comes out for Shuna, and then we'll use the attack buff. And now everybody should be ready to go. We'll get the follow-up orbs. I wish we had enough points to change that one orange, but we don't, no matter what. So we'll send Shuna first, then you, and then we'll follow up with those. And I think we should be okay here. Shuna 150. Oh, okay. Pierce nerf? What's that? Geld, finish it up. Finish it. You know what? We're going to watch his ult. Geld is going to win us the game right here with his chemicals. Chemical Burst. I actually didn't remember that was the skill name. I just said that ironically. 27k. Alright, not great, but hey, we won. But EX Shuna really did a whole butt ton of damage to them. So, alright, we have one more stage to go for this video. Alright, the final stage, Water Shuna. She has permanent crit and pierce defense. So we are not going to be able to use Wind Shuna's Pierce power. So we're going to have to rely on the follow-up attacks, and then the pure ult damage and attack debuff, or attack buff from Rimuru. But we do have a water unit, and she is fire, so things will be, I think, just fine. We just have to make sure that Water Shuna especially does not get hit with that attack nerf on turn 3. So we'll go ahead and bring you both in. We're prioritizing Water Shuna at this point, because she's going to do the most damage. So if anything, we want her to get at least multiple ults, actually. So let's use the full orb change here. This stage is, again, catered for blues, but it's meant to be used on a blue stacking team, which, when this stage came out, 337k HP was actually a lot. And now we have like 2.7 million or something like that. So times have definitely changed, and I feel like even a burst blue team at this point will be able to do enough damage to this poor little Shuna. It's just that we're losing one of our big time buffs because we cannot pierce. But that's a good hand. That is actually a fantastic hand. But we have to get both the Shunas out of here. So, let's give the EX ult to win Shuna, and then we'll get both of them out. We'll bring Gobta and Geld up front, and because Gobta has that orb change, we're actually going to get a full hand of blues again, which will be quite nice. But we do not use the Pierce buff here. Like, we cannot do it. So Geld for... let's do Gobta for Shuna. And then Geld for the other Shuna. There we go. And then Gobta orb change. Perfect. We're going to get attack nerfed here again. Not that it really matters, because we're not relying on any of these characters to do damage. Space Reamer will have a nerf put on for the first time. Again, as long as we have our two Shunas away from this nerf, we're going to be okay. And the follow-up damage will not do anything, actually. Alright. So, the thing is, what do we do here? Do we send the ults as is at full power and then try and do it again? We need you to get an ult, actually. So let's do that. Let's bring you in for Geld, actually. Yeah, for Geld. And then we'll use the two orb changes, so boom, boom. And then this will get a Shuna ult plus some, because this will give it to Rimuru, actually. No, it gave it to Shuna, never mind. Alright, well that works too. So, we'll go ahead and send this, and then next turn we have one more turn of the 30 points. We'll use the follow-ups. Okay, counter, why, whatever. Oh, we pierced there. So you saw the damage fall off from the normal orb and then the pierce. It was like half damage. That's not what you want to see. Okay. Can we do enough damage here, though, is going to be the question. Or are we going to have to go quite a ways? So let's bring you in for Gobta. Okay, that's fine. Let's use the ult buff and the attack buff. That's all the points we've got. We'll use the follow-ups, and we'll see how much damage we actually do here, because I don't actually know how much we're going to do. Obviously, Wind Shuna has been doing a lot of damage throughout the entirety of this video, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Alright, 66k, well, it's not great. Water Shuna, 76k. Alright, I mean, we've taken her down lower. We have the follow-up orbs, which will push her into red, probably. 14, 7,000... Oh, not quite. Okay. Alright, yeah, really losing that Pierce buff really cut our damage down. And while 30% Pierce power isn't the most impactful thing in the world, it does make a difference. So, let's do... You have an ult already. Let's bring Gobta in. And then, do we have enough points? We do. We have exactly enough points to use this full orb change. Perfect. And then we can give Shuna an ult again. And then we're going to have to bank on just one of the buffs now, because we don't get any more free 30 points from trainee now. We just have to live with it. Turn 6, we have 2 stacks, so we can get another EX Shuna ult, and we can nuke her on turn 8 like we're supposed to, when her defense buff leaves. So, I mean, we could have held on to it, but honestly, it's like, it's not... We're not going to get any points then, so I think we're fine. We've got 3 ults now. Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's bring you in for Space Rimuru. And we'll do the ult buff here. And then we'll get the follow-up. And this should, quote-unquote, should be enough to take out this Shuna with 2 single targets and an AoE. Let's find out. Gobta is attack nerf, though. So 16k, that's not a lot. Got up to 11k. Shuna 35. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay, there we go. 5 stages of the old Tempered Edge done on their highest difficulty with the Tempered Edge team, or Tempest Elite team. It's only going to get harder from here. So the next video will be the next 4 stages. Those will be interesting. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. That's it for me. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.